Hello ladies, gentlemen, and everything in between, and welcome to a Minecraft video. I am well aware that this is not exactly a unique or a older game. 2011, I consider 2011-ish to be an older game. It's getting on 10 years now. But I have been doing some dicking around building a house. Obviously, that's what you do in Minecraft. There's other ones over there, they're not important for now. For context, I have built a DND campaign for me and my mates, which will be taking place inside of a mansion. That mansion is this one. This is a one-to-one recreation of that D&D campaign, this being the front of it, obviously. So I'm going to give you a tour. So when the characters arrive, they will be stopped by these 5 people, 4 guards and 1 captain. That's his horse. This is just to ask them not to come in before anything happens. So they'll come in and they'll be given the hook of the campaign. The campaign being one of the people in here has been murdered, and they are tasked to find out who the murderer is from the people inside of the house. It was one of the characters in the house. It has been fought out already, and I've given it some testing, and depending on how well I as a DM do, it should be easy enough to figure out who it is. So it's mirrored on either side, with 2 trees and a fountain. I do quite like the design of tree that I've come up with. It's copied I think this is what this acacia tree, I believe this is basically how they look already, but I've modified the leaves and added the vines, obviously. The design in here was a bloody pain to make, and I think I've already messed it up. Notice, yep, that's not meant to be there. As I was saying, so getting this design here equal on both sides was right, because I'm bad at geometry, but it's basically a giant M shape sort of deal. So the people will come in here, be told people being murdered. They'll be given a rundown of the people that are in the house and were in the house. They won't be told where and any sort of motivation, just that they're in the house. We'll then enter here and be told, hey, you enter a large foyer with 2 people, the wife of the murderee, and their daughter, and they'll question those guys. To the right here, we have a bar/smoking room. This is obviously a nice house, so having a large bar smoky room with a nice fire, it's not that unreasonable to think that they would have. And inside here also is one of the people. I believe this is a guy called Posey. Here we have the dining room, which also has 2 people. I don't know where they've disappeared to, as well as obviously some food laid out, the family's lunch, because they'll be arriving around lunchtime, and a nice fire going off in the corner. Getting these looking nice was a real pain, because I went through with the debug stick and removed all of the inside stems from in between the legs and the center. If I could get slabs that looked okay in here, I would have, but they didn't look quite right, having the gap in the center. And this is the workers' pathway between the kitchen and the dining room. Inside of this kitchen, they'll meet a guy called Lynn, who is the chef of the area. He's got his workspace, he's got a large sort of cooking surface, cooking bench as well here for when he's doing stuff with the furnace and smoker, actually. Get those going. And with the chimneys, and that is, in case anyone asks if this guy is any good, culinary school, prestigious culinary school certificate. In here, so I want to point out right now, magic is not really going to be used. It's a highly specialized thing in this world. The characters won't be using magic for the most part, and nobody knows how to do it. It's super specialized. In here is the only sort of overworld magic that's really going to be coming into any sort of effect, and this is a cold room. This area is basically enchanted to be forever cold using these crystals. Yeah, it's sort of like cold storage room, and this is a guy called Wee. And he will come out through here at some point. They may miss him and he's already gone downstairs. Something along those lines. Depending on what time they take to talk to people, depends on where the people are in the real world. We're in the world. We've then got the workers' quarters. This is bedroom for all of the workers, with the butler having the largest bed and everyone else having singles. And this is a character called Vera, and she's kind of just like house hand, for lack of a better word. And that is the entirety of the bottom floor. It is missing a toiletry area, but who really needs that in a D&D house? Going upstairs, I've left the store open. No, I haven't. Going upstairs, we've got all of the family bedroom. This being the master bedroom. We have the murdered person still in bed. We have his friend Roy, and a suit, and obviously some banners everywhere, a smaller fireplace to keep this house warm, and his workbench. As you can see, there is an enchanting table here, because this character, Taurus, the murdered guy Taurus, has been trying to learn the magic. So he's got a sort of enchanting table there just to indicate he's doing some form of magic shit. How well that's going, I haven't really decided. It may well just be a case of he's able to make his hand shake, and that's about it. Big walk-in wardrobe here. I don't know why that's... Why is that like that? I don't know. And this is the guest room. This is where Roy will be. He has his own desk and his own slightly smaller walk-in wardrobe, which is pretty much identical to the last one. They're obviously judicious use of the plank slabs everywhere in the roof. I don't think any of the roofs along here are actually full block. They're all slabbed up in different heights. He's got his own little closet here. Not closet. Segmented chest sort of deal. And yeah, that's fine. And he's got a triple bed, but only one pillow, because he's the only one that sleeps here. He doesn't need it to have more. He's got the nicest view, I reckon, because he's got all of the ocean. He's got the sunken ship over there, which came with the world, and he's got out here looking over the fountain and the other buildings, kind of. We've got a big old skylight that goes all the way across, and some like family banners and history and shit, and a giant ass backyard which I haven't bothered to decorate, but that's got a secret thing for later, and a random spider there apparently. I did forget to point out that the roof itself is stepped on the inside, so I think it's 3 layers, 3 layers of slabs, or 3 different sizes of slabbed roofing to get that effect, and it steps out over here as well, a bit sharper, mind. Through here we have all the different children's bedrooms. We got 20, 25, 16, 6 and 20, I think is the ages for the kids, if I remember correctly. So they all have their own pretty large bedroom. And again, this chick, Nicola, was it Ree? Whichever one. Apart from having the curtains, if they weren't there, has the other best view, because it has also got the other buildings and a little touch of the ocean. So in terms of the D&D map itself, you basically got 3 3 layers of the map. You've got this first floor, so the entirety of the first floor is the 5 rooms around here, plus the main foyer. The 5th room being the little hallway. I'm including the other room. And there's 6 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people. Sorry, that are on this floor already. They will be moving around depending on what time it takes for people to do stuff. But that's whatever. You then have the 2nd floor with its 2 people. So you have Roy in there, and Ree. I want to say the Ree is in that room. That's her room. I'm going to switch up Roy and Ray the entire time, do forgive me. So you may have noticed in here, okay, there is a hallway down, and this takes you down to the basement, obviously. It was a large storage room on this side, and this will be the 2 areas that the character is most likely to run into Wee, is either in here, as he's moving stuff from here up into the cold room, or he's in the cold room coming back down here. That's the 2 areas they'll find each other. They'll most likely be to find him. This obviously is a grain restory, a grain depository, and we've just got random barrels here and there, and chests and tools that the house might need at some point. In here is the staff's corner, like the staff's eating corner, because they're not really the house gets people. Owners don't really want the staff to be eating and drinking in the same place that they are, because they're snobs, and this is D&D world, snobs rule. So this is the servants area. They've got tables, they've got like a bar bench here, they've got drinks up on the walls on top of benches, because there's no way of putting an entity on something, so that's my indication for there's something on here. Yeah, there'll be one of the characters by the name of Aria, who is the butler, will be down here getting absolutely smashed. That's what that room's there for. We then have a well, because every house needs a well, and why are you here? Fucking, now that he's out of the way, we've got a well, which goes down, which has a sequenced light, just to give this top area some form of reflectivity or lighting effects from those torches, as well as this chain which goes down to assumably a bucket. In theory, if someone requests to look in here for whatever reason, there is a clue as to who did it. If they pull up the chain, there'll be a piece of evidence. Getting this piece here required the debug. And if I place this here, you see it doesn't actually attach. Right, break that one in fact, make it easier. It doesn't actually attach to the chain. So I had to use the debug to attach, to raise this bit of the wall on the side here. That's just a button to initiate the sequencing. Come to think of it, if I turn on the shader pack that I was using to build all of this, it significantly drops the frame rate. It's down to 50, it's fine. And it gives a much nicer reflection to the underside, or a lighting to from the underside. Because it just wants to be, if you're standing here, you get that slight shimmering effect on the surface. That's all it was there for. That lighting, what is it called? SUS something. Yeah, SUS renewed 1.01 makes this place look a lot more gloomy. The use of the lands probably has something to do with that, because they don't seem to shed as much light with this resource pack on. Even though they don't output as much light, even though the light level is the same as a torch. I don't know why it's done that way. In here we have what's going to be a giant prayer room with a constantly burning fire inside of it. If there wasn't the smoke effect, it would be better, because the idea is it's a prayer room. The thing has been set up by the same magician that did the cold room, and it's just a forever burning fire. It isn't actually burning anything, so there's no smoke, because there's nothing to burn and turn into the carbon soot that is smoke. Now, because Minecraft obviously doesn't have flickering fire effects, I've had to build my own, which looks something like this. If I could get it to be a bit faster, I would, but this is about as good as it gets. I've also noticed that it hasn't brought up the ones on the back. I'll have to check that out in a minute. Once that's done, turn it all off, shove it all down. It does unfortunately destroy the torches, but they're not that necessary. Oops. They're not that necessary to the whole endeavour. They're literally just there to stop things from spawning while everyone's sticking around upstairs. Yeah, that is the entirety of the house, the 3 levels, the 10-15 rooms I think it is, and all of the people. I should have mentioned that there is Louise, who is the only non-human in the entire campaign. She is an elf, and that fact is important for the campaign. Through here we have all of the controls. That is the cycling circuit for the lights down at the bottom. It is super simple. It's literally just a single ring that comes around to this light with different lengths of delay through here. Nothing too special. That's just to stop me falling in. Yeah, that's all it is. The button in there simply powers it, and these are one way, so it can only go one way. The only thing you could really do is slow it down a bit, or increase the speed, but if you increase the speed it changes the timing of those lamps and they end up just staying on forever. This is the circuitry for lifting the lamps up. It goes 1, 2 through here and down here, and we have the second line which goes all the way through here and resurfaces over here, if I can get through. Resurfaces over here and powers up these guys, though why that didn't work before I'm not too sure. Cool. Yeah, and that's what extends all of these guys up to different levels. These are all sticky pistons, so it also drags them down, and if you know pistons, you'll know that it shouldn't have dragged the top ones down. Oh, that's blocked something. There, fine. Yeah. And if you just say, as I was saying, these are all sticky pistons, so they lift them up, and obviously they'll drag this one down, but because he's on a lower level, they won't. So I've had to install a second line of just normal pistons at the top. All this does is just push the top row down, meaning all of these lamps get pushed down as well, because it leaves all of these guys high and mighty, because the block that's below them has been dragged down, but that obviously will leave a gap because that's not sticky. I could make that a like a honey block or something along those lines. The problem is then it would also pull this one up and down with it as well, completely breaking the effect. So let me just, and these are all powered from that button, and this is just a simple redstone almost circuit. It is a circuit, but it's got a one-way gate there. Comes up off of that button, goes down that way, hits the repeater and carries on that way, and these ones go the opposite way. The reason it goes both ways is because you essentially have to power them oddly. So this is the first one. Do you get pushed down? Don't. What's underneath you though? Oh, nothing. Yeah, nothing, so you don't matter. Yeah, so this is a single loop that does a full circle and then has a one-way gate there. So this side essentially does all of the other pistons, and these are just normal pistons. And this line does all of the first pistons. So first, second, and that's just to allow it to push them all down, because if you were to put a redstone here, it'll connect all of these three up, but it won't actually power the piston. And that's the house tour essentially done. There are a couple events that will happen depending on how well they do. This is part 1. It's a big old fireworks show, which can be viewed from down here. Unfortunately, it doesn't go through tinted glass, so it's not a very good viewing point. However, I have built a button activated one here. And that sets them off 2 at a time. And it's a much nicer place to view them as well. Now, getting that one working was actually a real pain in the ass, because getting it to go from this top floor here down to the bottom, I originally had just a simple staircase going down, but it looked kind of ugly, I'm not going to lie. It was not very pleasurable to look at affair. So in the end, what I did was have a sticky piston, which is activated by that button, push this block down, which the detector sees, and that's 1 tick, which then sends obviously a signal of redstone down, and then when that releases, gets pulled back up, it sends off a 2nd tick. And that tick is going through that redstone pile here to this repeater just to give it some more oomph, and then it hits here and gets split off into that direction, which goes all the way over there, and then it also enters the circuit, which sends its way around and stops here, but that hits 1, 2, and 3 more of the rows of fireworks. The lever comes down simply from there and activates a toggleable circuit. So if I break that, and that, kind of. No, you want to be gone. And I chuck that there. You see it creates a spiraling circuit. It doesn't really matter that it hits here because it doesn't go anywhere. But it creates this spinning circuit. So as long as that's activated, it will start sending off fireworks. Close it off. You get 1 last cycle on it, usually, depending on when you turned it off. And that will then send all the fireworks off in sequence. Whereas this one, it does do it in sequence, but it only does it twice per button push. Whereas that's continual. There is a Enderman somewhere. There he is. And these are a pretty simple circuit. It's just a redstone trail with repeaters every 10 or so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, about every 7 to 10 different lengths. And they'll just go to a dispenser. Yeah, thanks for joining me on this very unoriginal content. I hope you have a nice morning, a nice evening, and a nice afternoon. And if you want, I will be more than happy to share the outline of this campaign if you like, including the maps that I have. Ta-ra, everyone.